Hello everyone, welcome to this live session. And today we are going to talk a lot about pelvic floor and Kegels. And we have with us today Dr. Aditi. She is a women's pelvic floor physio and she specializes in diastasis recti and pelvic girdle dysfunction. She will be joining us shortly. Thank you everyone for joining. And if you're having any questions, we'll try to answer as many as possible. Let me just get her in.
So pretty,
Hey,
Nilofer.
thank you, Vidya. I guess Dr. Aditi is here.
Okay.
Let me get her. No, she's not yet here. Yeah.
Should have actually
Yeah,
my
I put
laptop
some
is
attempt, I put some effort into getting ready today.
nice, nice. Your attempt is successful.
Thank you.
My laptop
Yeah, I
is
just gave an
just waiting.
introduction about
Yeah.
Dr. Aditi. Yeah, I was just giving an introduction about Dr. Aditi, and I just mentioned that what this session is about. We're going to talk about women's pelvic health, and we're going to talk about a lot about Kegels, whether Kegels are good, who can do Kegels, can everyone practice Kegels, or are there any side effects to Kegels? So we're going to discuss all these things. We
Sure.
already have questions in.
Yeah, so
Okay.
many questions.
I just wait.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to wait for Dr. Aditi to
Can you
join
ping her?
before
My
we start
laptop is
answering
just.
these questions.
Nilofer, can you ping her? My laptop is just starting. It's like, yeah.
Okay. I don't have a number now.
Oh, okay. 1 second, wait. I'll come back then.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. So sorry to keep you all waiting. Thank you so much for joining. There's some delay in Dr. Aditi joining us. We're just trying to contact her and get her in. In the meanwhile, please keep posting your questions. We will try to answer as many questions as possible. Please try to keep your questions focused on pelvic floor, pelvic health. If you are having any issues with diastasis recti, that is the separation of cells, which usually happens after pregnancy. And yeah, we will try to answer those questions. Harpreet, I see your question is about how can baby gain weight. I think you are pregnant and you're looking for an answer, but we have with us a pelvic floor physio today. So I don't, we'll still try to see if we can answer your question. Guys, we're just waiting for Dr. Aditi to join us. She will be joining any minute now, and we will start off with our session. Hmm. Yeah, I have a request to record the session. This session will be recorded, and we will be sharing this session on our feed on Instagram, so y'all can watch it over there later on as well. Yeah, so we have a question from Mona that how to check if our pelvic floor is weak or tight. Can we check it at home? We are going to talk about this in today's session, so that should be answered. Yeah, so we will answer your question.
Okay, sorry, I called
Yeah,
her. She's joining. I called her, so I dropped off. Sorry, guys. And yeah, she'll be joining.
yeah, no issues.
Yes. What's better than Kegels? Yes, yes, Janpreet. We are going to cover all these questions. We are just waiting for Dr. Aditi. I think she has joined. Yeah.
No,
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 she's not.
not.
I just saw her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see her, but she's not. I'll try to send her the request.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi,
Yeah, we
Dr.
have
Aditi.
loads. Yes, we have loads of questions. I think we'll just get started.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm at clinic, just finished work, and I just did
Yes,
some presentable makeup to present. I was in bad state of my appearance.
we need your knowledge, Dr. Aditi. We are okay. Yeah. Nilufar, can you please ask the first question? My laptop is
Yeah,
full.
I'll start.
Yes, yes,
Yeah, I'll just start off with the
yes,
first question.
yes.
Okay, we have a couple of questions from the audience as well. We can take them up once we are done with our questions. So my first question to you, Dr. Aditi, is what are Kegels?
Hello.
I guess we lost her. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm able to see you, Nilufar. Aditi, can you hear us? I think some network issue at her end.
Looks like there's some issue in our network. Yeah.
Yeah, let's wait for a couple of minutes.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes, now you are.
I think some network issue. Yeah, please tell me. I didn't hear anything actually because
Yeah, so my first question to you, Dr. Aditi, is that what are Kegels?
So, see, any muscle in the body, right, it contracts and it relaxes. Kegel is nothing but the contraction of the pelvic floor muscles, which was invented by Dr. Kegels way back in, I think, 1960s or 61s. He was a gynecologist and he was a male gynecologist who thought that our medicines and our surgery is not enough for pelvic floor muscles. There has to be something because it's a muscle, it's a muscular body. So like any other muscle, this muscle also should be able to work. So he started prescribing Kegel, I mean the contractions of the pelvic floor muscles to his patients who were suffering from pelvic organ prolapse and urinary incontinence back then, which actually worked for many of them because there was no concept of exercising that time, right? So it worked for some, it didn't work for some, and it has worsened the symptoms for a few. So because it did not work for some and it has worsened the symptoms of few, then we had to come up with much more than just doing Kegels to understand how we can improve the quality of life of women specifically who are suffering from incontinence or pelvic organ prolapse. So these were the two areas that time that Kegels was prescribed. I mean, on the like so many years, like then it became like one thing that okay, Kegels is the one thing which should be prescribed for each and everything to do with pelvic floor dysfunctions. Now the issue is becoming now like for each and everything when people are prescribing for Kegels. It's like for constipation also you do things. It's like for painful penetrative sex also you do Kegels only. For anything, each and every issue. So the thing is that it's not for each and every issue. It is for some issues, for some people, not for everybody who has incontinence, not for everybody who has pelvic organ prolapse. So then we have to, what do you call it? We have to pick and choose, like who can do, who should be able to do, and who should not do.
Right.
Things like that. So Kegel is a contraction of the pelvic floor muscles, which is also associated with the mindful relaxation of the muscle. So now what is also happening when we are prescribing you do Kegels, we are not talking about you should relax also. We are only telling, okay, contract, 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 contract and hold. Visualize that you are urinating and you have to stop the flow of the urine. You contract and hold. So women, they just try to then keep contracting. Then third thing which is also going on wrong, then when to contract is the breathing should be a part of the whole thing. So breathing was not the part of the whole thing back then, but with the researches now we know that breathing is a very important component when we want to activate our core muscles or engage the core muscles, and pelvic floor is a very important core muscle of the body.
Right.
So without breathing, it's not easy to connect with the core, and it will be completely harmful if you are doing a wrong breathing and doing the Kegel contraction.
Okay.
So if the breathing is not right, so if you have to inhale on contraction or you have to exhale on contraction, that is important to understand. And the fourth and final thing is, if maybe Vidya, you are my patient, okay, and you are talking me on phone and telling, Aditi, I have this issue, what should I do? I'll tell you, okay, Vidya, start contractions. Imagine that you are stopping the. I know what you understood by that.
Yeah.
Or maybe a personal consultation also. What will I know that what you are understanding by that, right? In that, what happens? Many women during their menopause who have the symptoms of urinary incontinence or pelvic organ prolapse, their muscles are actually weaker. So a weak muscle at times they actually don't know how to contract. So if I'm asking you to bend the elbow, but I can see the bending the elbow, but I will say, no, no, doctor, I'm not able to bend. There is some problem, I'm not able to bend. Then I can visualize, oh, there is some problem. So let's see what is the problem. Is the muscle weakness or any fracture or any inflammation or any injury is there? Why you're not able to bend? So pelvic floor also same thing. If I am asking somebody to do contraction, am I sure that that person is doing the contractions of the pelvic floor, or that woman is doing the contraction of the glutes or the hip or the belly muscles and holding everything other than the pelvic floor?
Yeah. And most
So
of the time, yeah, I
yeah,
think
yeah,
we
please.
hold the breath. We hold the breath.
All of us we like to hold our glutes, we like to hold our belly. See, if you shout at your child or your husband or anybody, right, first thing you hold yourself. You need that kind of. Okay, then you will clench your teeth. So we are holding every time, and the more we hold, the more pelvic floor contractions are there. They are like a reflex of the body to guard ourselves. So when you are angry, anxious, stressed, right, you are in that mode, we hold. And the pelvic floor, glutes, abdominals, they work together to hold, to just guard the body, to make it more firm. That is the whole
Right.
thing. So anxiousness and stress also causes a lot of pelvic floor issues. So many women who have no histories of maybe pregnancy, childbirth, but they also have symptoms of pelvic floor dysfunctions, including prolapse, including constipation, including other things. So pelvic floor dysfunctions are not only related to pregnancy and childbirth, but yes, majority is pregnancy and childbirth.
Okay, okay. So,
Thank you for that, Dr. Aditi. Before going to our next question, Vidya,
yeah,
okay, since our next question is we are asking whether we can do Kegels in pregnancy and both. So before going to that question, what is your suggestion for somebody asking specifically whether they can do Kegels or not, with like with or without consultation, or with the help of a physio or without the help of physio. So are Kegels really recommended
See,
by
because
you
of
or not?
the recent studies, I will not tell anyone to do just do that. I will first understand if I am not able to accessible physically or maybe online or on phone, then they have to understand what is the history, what that person does, yeah, and any history, any childhood trauma is interplay, because you know that how India is such a big country and childhood trauma is very much in there. I mean, no, we don't talk about it, we talk about it, it's there. And many women, they are the prey of this childhood trauma, maybe sexually, physically, emotionally, psychologically, any part. It's not only sexual assault, it could be anything. Yes, so childhood trauma plays a very important role. I need to also understand what is your personality type. Somebody, some people are like, they just take a lot of load, and some people like chill out. So we know that, okay, this person is getting agitated with small things. So there are so many things to understand. I mean, it's known as an assessment and evaluation. So we do this an assessment which involves your history, your personality trait, your childhood history, and other things. And one assessment includes your pelvic floor assessment. So that comes later. So that only comes
okay.
when I feel that maybe I need to check the pelvic floor, because in all the cases I might not check. I will only check if there is something related to pelvic floor happened, maybe pregnancy, childbirth, any pelvic surgery, maybe any surgery for endometriosis or any hysterectomy, any tumor was removed. So if any medical or surgical history or any physiological history which is your pregnancy had happened, then I might need to check. Otherwise, I need to first understand and then okay, let's for contractions or relaxations. Also, posture plays a very important role there. So many men, they have this issue. It's just because your posture is bad. Men,
Okay.
women, so your posture because pandemic. So I was just talking in one of my patients today. To 2022, one article had come in American Institute of Pelvic Floor. I mean, one of the hospitals. 2020 and 2021, because of pandemic, there was an increase in 40% increase in cases of pelvic floor dysfunctions, both men and women, which is not related to pregnancy and childbirth. This is just related to your posture, your stress, and your anxiety. And these are the data which is the data which is there reported, and which is in America. So America's population is much more lesser than what we deal in India.
Right.
Yes, and then awareness is not there for us. So for more physical trauma, I think all of us, we go more emotional and psychological trauma when it comes to something like this, because nobody understands.
Right. So, Dr. Aditi, so what would be the first step after childbirth? Like if their gynec is saying, okay, you can start Kegels. So what should they do? And not many are aware, they don't understand core muscles. They are not aware of what is core, what is pelvic. They don't even know even Kegels. So how do they start after their childbirth?
See, to start this, it starts with educating yourself anywhere with anyone. So understanding what pelvic floor muscles are first. See, if I'm asking you to start squats and it will work on your glutes and your quadriceps, then I need to tell you, okay, glutes are the muscles of your buttocks and quadriceps are the muscles of your front of thigh. And then you do this and you will feel there, then you will feel the burn. So then I will not, then somebody is telling, oh my God, I'm doing squat, but I feel the burn here. Is it the muscle that should work? No, this is not the muscle that should work. Maybe you're straining so much, that's why the muscle is working. So until you know your anatomy, it's very difficult to work in this area, pelvic floor, because this muscle you cannot see, you cannot touch and feel until you go inside your vaginal canal and then you touch and feel. Otherwise, you don't do that. And how many of us we do that? How many of us we try to understand our own vulva, our own vagina, our own muscles, what is happening there? How many natural deliveries, ladies don't even touch themselves down because they're so scared, like what happened? So when, you also know about perineal massage. It's one of the things which you also recommend to your clients and new mother. For that also, it takes them time and understanding, or really we can touch our own scar and, do some mobilization, some kneading. When I have to teach them, they feel, oh my God, really we can do that? Yes, it's your own body part. You can do that. So anatomy starts with the acceptance that you have these organs and they can be harmed because of any kind of mode of delivery, because if it's vaginal, tear can happen. If it's C-section, it's a major surgery.
Right.
If any other major surgery, the lady will be resting, you will be serving soup and everything to her. Caesarean section, she has to be up and running in second, third day, she has to feed the child also, right? And in that also, she's not feeding the child. You'll go, oh, you're not feeding your child? What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
So there are so many things. So that it starts with educating yourself to understanding, oh, these are your muscles. And if my gynecologist is telling to do Kegels, I tell everybody, ask your gynecologist specifically what to do in Kegels. So if they are only telling you, imagine that you are stopping the flow of urine, no, this is not good enough. Ask, what should you feel? Where you should feel? For how many contractions you should do? And you should do in sitting position, lying position, standing position. Many of men, I've just seen one of the reels on Instagram only, that ladies telling you breastfeed your child and you do Kegels. How can it happen? You can't breastfeed the child and you do Kegels, and you're not doing Kegels, you're doing something else only. So it's an exercise, it has to be taken seriously as an exercise and do in your free time. Just 5 minutes. So if you're doing Kegels contraction, and then what about relaxation? Are you being taught by your healthcare provider that you need to relax also after doing that contraction? How many contractions are advisable? Or the contractions are actually happening or no? Did your healthcare provider went inside and checked, is a vaginal canal, did she check that this is the contraction I'm asking for? So it's not happening. It doesn't happen because they are actually very busy and they can't be checking for each and every pelvic floor to see if the contractions are happening or no. So that work, who does that work? Then we do. As pelvic floor therapists, we tell these ladies in after your 6 weeks postpartum, 6 to 8 weeks के बाद, ठीक है? Your 40 days, your 45 days are over. उसके बाद you meet a pelvic floor therapist, understand your body, understand that muscle, understand that contractions and relaxation is happening or no. And this is happening, then there will be a prescription. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you, Dr.
No
Aditi.
worries.
I want to know, like, what are the symptoms they can look out for? Yes, education is one way, but there are women, yes, who are aware of certain things, but they don't know, like, if there is a pain in certain area. This is when I have to, go and talk to a pelvic floor specialist. When is that? What are the symptoms?
Yeah, just before that question, Vidya, like maybe like we can club one of the question that we had from the audience. How can somebody check whether their pelvic floor is tight or weak or loose? Like,
Yeah.
how can you do that check? Can we do that check at home by ourselves?
You need to first understand what is normal to understand what is tight and what is weak. You understand what I mean?
Yes.
Yes. So again, I'll take the example of my biceps only. Okay? So if I am, so you have seen some women, they have this, flabbiness.
Yes.
You feel that they have tires, and so you know that this is loose, this is more flabby. And some people, they have this athletic arm, toned arm.
Right.
So you know that this is toned and this is flabby, and something like this, which is natural, neutral. If you're not exercising, it is like this. And if you have gained so much weight, or maybe you have not exercised anything, so you know some reference of other part of the body, right? So if somebody has bigger thighs, you are walking, you feel, oh my God, my inner thighs, they were not rubbing together, but now they are rubbing together. Means they are becoming more maybe fatter or maybe becoming looser. So you have some reference there, right? Pelvic floor, there is no reference for us to tell anyone that, okay, you just insert your fingers and try to palpate to understand it is weak or tight.
Right.
So that is one thing. Second thing,
Makes sense.
yeah. So, and second thing, pelvic floor physios, being pelvic floor physios, because we see a lot of pelvic floors throughout the day. So we have on palpation, on observation, a reference value to understand, okay, this is slightly more tone, this is slightly less tone, and this looks like normal. Also, it goes with the contractions. So if I feel somebody's tone, I'm palpating and seeing, okay, somebody's tone is not that great, but the contractions are good, hold is good, relaxation is good, then I will say, okay, forget about tone. Movement is fine.
Okay.
If the same person is doing the same pelvic floor contractions, maybe while doing bridging exercise. The bridging exercise we all know, right? Lifting the buttocks of shoulder bridge. Yeah. So we do that. Okay, you do this, try to hold this thing and try to lift up. Okay, movements are fine. So it's not only about it's tight or loose, it's also about the performance of the movement, how it is. But yes, it is palpable to see. If it more tone, it is much more palpable. And then if you have more tone, no, it's very much what you call similar to any tone. We keep getting pains here. And if you have pain here, you will just press here, you will have some hard feeling, and then you will have the tenderness, right? Yes. Same thing happens in pelvic floor. We have trigger points. So if the tone is more, actually palpate, oh, these are the trigger points there. And how we like if somebody massages us there. So in pelvic floor also, we just release the whole thing and the lady feels much better that, okay, something is released down there. Okay. Otherwise, you feel stiff when you feel that you're holding.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And symptom, I'm not sure. Symptoms, are there any symptoms to look for, like pain anywhere?
So see, pelvic floor dysfunctions usually don't start with pain. They start with the dysfunction itself. Now, let's understand what is dysfunction. Dysfunction is, functions are not proper. Okay. Now, what are the functions? The functions of pelvic floor are to be able to release your pee when you want to release your pee. So all of us, we know, if I want to urinate right now, but because I'm talking to you, I am not going to pee. I can hold it for next 1 hour, 2 hours. I can do that. So that is the function of my pelvic floor. Voluntarily control and voluntarily release. ठीक है?
Okay.
Same thing happens with the passing stools also, passing wind also. So if those functions are not happening at your voluntary will, means you are just leaking without you knowing. If you are leaking gas also without you knowing, means there is something wrong going down there.
Right.
Second thing, pelvic floor muscle should be shut down the sphincters when you are coughing, sneezing, laughing, jumping. So ये जब सब होता है उस टाइम पे pelvic floor को जैसे for an example, if I am about to sneeze or cough, the signal will go to the brain that I am about to sneeze. The signal from the brain goes immediately to the pelvic floor saying, oh, Aditi is about to sneeze, shut down. And my pelvic floor should be able to shut down. Problem happens when that reflex system is not there. And that reflex system goes for a toss during pregnancy because the muscles are much more strained and they are lengthened out. So the reflex mechanism है वो उतना काम नहीं करता during pregnancy. And you are dealing with different level of hormonal, emotional orchestra all together in your body. ठीक है? So that address नहीं वो address नहीं होता है. ठीक है? The third important function of your pelvic floor is your sexual well-being. So if you have any pain or any pain during penetrative sex or after penetrative sex, means it's not normal. Or sometimes ladies just feel that I'm not feeling anything down there after vaginal birth, or I don't feel like to be intimate with my partner.
Right.
You know, I just don't. Orgasms are a big issue if post vaginal birth for many women. They don't feel that orgasmic power post childbirth. And then you have a very important function of pelvic floor too. It's a core muscle, so it should stabilize. So if you have prolonged low back pain, hip pain, which is there, means your pelvic floor is not working in coordination with the other core muscles. Right. So then you have the trouble of pain. Otherwise, the dysfunctions will be this leak, fecal incontinence, urinary incontinence, and opposite. Not able to release when I want to release. I'm constipated, I'm just going to bathroom a number of times and I'm not able to release. Dribbling is happening, I'm not sure why dribbling is happening.
Right.
So when functions are not proper, that is specifically, and these are the dysfunctions specifically. And one major dysfunction is your pelvic organ prolapse. So means support, pelvic organ stability is one thing that it stabilizes, and support is other thing that it supports all the pelvic organs. So we don't have, our pelvis has nothing other than the pelvic floor to support. And if this pelvic floor gives away, laxity, maybe vaginal birth, maybe menopause, maybe any hysterectomy which was done, which is not supporting it again, then the organs just slip down through the vaginal canal, and which is also not normal.
Okay.
So these are the specific systems. Yeah, please tell me.
Right. Sorry. So can pregnant mothers practice Kegels?
Okay, so I will say a big no, because
just Dr. going there, okay, we have this question from a lot of women that because we're almost at the end of our session, right? I just want to ask this question because there are around 7 people who have asked this question, that how to strengthen pelvic floor. They are not talking about Kegel, or they are not even talking about weak or strong or anything. So basically, if it is too tight, that's also an issue. If it's too weak, that's also an issue. So is there something that can be done, okay, just with the intention of strengthening the pelvic floor?
Yeah. So see, as I said, each and every muscle should contract and relax. Pelvic floor is a layer of muscles, a layered muscle where it is weak and tight at the same time.
Okay.
So pregnancy may the pelvic floor muscles are tighter because they are holding the weight of the uterus, the growing uterus, and it is weak because it is holding and it just fatigued, right? It is lengthening. So according to books, pelvic floor lengthens down like 2.5 to 3 centimeters. It lengthens down, it stretches down. So it becomes so weak. So it is weaker and it is tighter. So how to strengthen the pelvic floor muscle also includes both the contractions and the relaxations. Means you need to stretch and relax the pelvic floor. And once you are done with your stretching exercise of the pelvic floor, you need to then build up the strength. And then there are many exercises which we do to strengthen, right from bridging, lunges, glutes. But we focus on contractions at the right breathe, at the right movement. For an example, if I'm doing bridging, so I'm lying on flat, my hips and knees are bent, right? And I have to lift up. So I will work on contractions of my pelvic floor when I'm lifting up. And I will relax my pelvic floor when I'm coming down. So there is again a specific breathing associated to this, that when to contract and when to relax. So pelvic floor fitness, what I call it, pelvic floor fitness program. Pelvic floor fitness includes both the components: relaxation, stretching exercises and strengthening exercises. This is one component. And second component is coordination with the other muscles of the body, coordination with my inner thighs, coordination with my inner core, coordination with my glutes, and coordination with the movement, what I'm trying to do. And then slowly we do it without any weights, and then slowly we do our own body weight exercise in all four, where we start with some modified planks, modified push-ups, slowly get on to squats without weights, and then with weights. So it's a progression, sorry. So we need to first try to connect, contract and relax with breathing, contract and relax with the movement, and contract and relax with a variety of exercises.
Okay. Yeah. Actually, we just have like 5 minutes more, Dr. Aditi, but I want you to answer these two questions. I don't know how you'll answer, but yeah. So can pregnant mothers practice Kegels, and can Kegels help in vaginismus? I hope, yes.
No. Second question ka answer hai no. Kegels will not help in vaginismus. Vaginismus is the spasm of the pelvic floor. And Kegels is the contraction. So you don't want to contract the already spasmodic pelvic floor. You want to release. So second mein, you have to release. You have to focus on more of relaxation technique, bahut sara relaxation technique, and then contractions will come. First mein, pregnancy mein, if you want to say that you can do or no, the thing is that you need to again contract and relax, because pregnancy mein the muscle is tight and muscle is weaker. So we should have both the components. So again, pregnancy mein we say them to contract the pelvic floor, which is the Kegels, but with this very specific breathing in very specific positions, not in all positions and not any time which you feel like that you do. No. Right. So they can do, but it has to be a system to follow.
Okay. Yeah, we actually have another meeting. That's why this hurry. But I think the second question, yes, there is one question, but I think you already answered. It's not safe to watch videos and practice Kegels. It's better to contact an expert.
Yeah.
And and do not, as Dr. Aditi said, it's not easy to, diagnose yourself at home whether your pelvic floor is, strong, weak, or, tight. It's better you contact an expert. Dr. Aditi, would you like to end this session on some notes for new mothers?
Yeah, I will say, see, ladies, pelvic floor is the health of not only the health of the pelvis, but I think the health of the woman generally. I've seen in my experience that women, they are wearing pads 15, 20 years post-pregnancy because they did not find any answer. They only found the answer, it's fine to leak and we don't have any treatment. So maybe 15 years ago, 10 years ago, there was no treatment. But right now, at this time, in whatever century we are in, 2023 is going on, and we have this solution with simple exercises. बहुत complexity नहीं है इसमें. Yes, when the pelvic floor is not at all working at all in cases of prolapse and menopause, that time we do give stimulation. So pelvic floor physiotherapy takes care of your internal assessment plus the exercise, general pelvic floor exercises, and the use of the electrical stimulation to stimulate the pelvic floor muscles if they are not working. And there is something also known as biofeedback. When you are severely constipated, severely having pain during penetrative sex, or severely suffering from incomplete bladder emptying, then there is something known as biofeedback. So these are the different techniques which are instruments. Okay. But the basic stuff is the basic, how to breathe, release, stretch, and we focus on that. And I really want to add one more thing here. I have a very special program, which is Pelvic Floor Fitness Program. And my master class is coming on 24th of February. So if anybody wants to join your team, New Mothers team, your followers, whoever is watching here, most welcome women to join and understand your own anatomy, because it starts with knowing yourself. So we'll be talking about what is your pelvic floor, how you feel it, and how you breathe and things like that. Yeah.
Sure, definitely, Dr. Aditi. You can share a link, maybe we can share it on the caption
You can
if you want.
share it with the post.
Yeah.
Yes, if you want
That
to
will be
share it.
great.
Yes.
That will be great.
Yes, you can share it with us. And yes, just the last note, please do not practice Kegels without experts' guidance. Please ask. It is really important because it could do more harm than doing any good to you. And let's not get into that.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Dr. Aditi,
Thank
for
you so
joining us.
much. Thank you so much for inviting me again. I was looking forward to one more live with you guys. You are doing amazing work. So
Thank you. We'll do many more. It's interesting, such topics are interesting, but today we have a lack of time, so really
I
sorry we could
understand
not.
that.
Yeah.
No worries.
So
No worries.
let's do it again. Let's come back with another, hot topic, maybe.
Yes, we
And
will
we
do it
have a lot of,
definitely.
yes, there is a lot of questions on orgasms and, reducing belly, so we can do that later.
We'll do that. We'll do that. We'll do
Yes.
that. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you so much, Dr. And for everyone who had so many questions and we were not able to answer them, I'm so sorry. Today's session was specifically about pelvic floor, and we had a lot of questions already on pelvic floor. So we could not really take in your questions on reducing the belly and other questions related to orgasms. So we will plan on some other sessions with Dr. Aditi, and we can then address these topics over there. So
Yes.
thank you
Sure,
so
sure.
much. Thank you, Dr. Aditi. It was
Thanks,
wonderful
Nilofer.
session
Thanks,
as always.
Vidya.
And
Thanks.
Bye.
yeah, thank you.
Bye. Take care,
Please
people.
share the link.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Please share the link,
I'll
Dr.
do
Aditi.
that. I'll do that. I'll do it.
Yeah.
Bye.